Oh, let's do it. And you can record. And we are with item 6.5, our water operational report on page 85. And that's been moved to Councillor Research. Thank you. And seconded by Councillor Koukou. Thank you. Councillor Research.
I think it's good. On page 92. Just was curious about how you get more RFSs. See, the RFSs have got really ever been
Connection number.
connections, so just curious about that one. Isn't that thank you, but I presume it's a fault that's due with whatever, I don't know, resulting in a peak. Otherwise,
I wonder if you've got any commentary.
Yes, through Mayor Conway. Yeah, the higher number of RFSs compared to connections is just exactly that, due to an increased number of people calling in, which is great that they do those calls, but yeah, we need to do that.
Do all members receive the automatic water outages emails that our council sends me? Because the entire Koukou and Rauene correlate exactly to the unplanned outage automatic emails that I get. You know, the number of RFSs that are coming.
I think that email tree is an opt-in situation, so if you're wanting to get those.
Well, someone opted me in, if someone can opt everyone in, and then if you don't want to receive them anymore, then you can opt out.
We can make that happen.
That's all happen.
Can I just
Councillor Court.
huge acknowledgement for large print, thank you.
For what, sorry?
Large print.
Large print, yes, thank you. I'll put the motion, all those in favour say aye. Those opposed or abstentions. That's carried. We'll go to item 6.6, our community facilities, operations and maintenance update for July. Which I will move. Seconded by Councillor Research. If we're going to think it's just us and then Councillor Research. This is just our monthly one.
Just our monthly, I did share this report by Friday notices because we missed it last month, so just for formal adoption and acceptance, so no further details.
And I appreciate the bullet points for the executive summary.
Absolutely, thank you for the feedback.
And appreciate just having this level of oversight, which is really great. And we just had, of course, our contractors themselves in the room, and this is our monthly one to give us the update, and it's really good. The research.
Really is, I'm really encouraged by the detail of the property. I'd love to see that. All the facilities being identified.
Yeah.
Where all the work in progress. I think that, then I'm seeing that, I think we're running really well.
Through the chair, we are actively looking to improve monthly. I think we've got some really good cooperation from City Care. I'm fielding, you would have seen the discussion earlier with Councillor Foy on some ideas and suggestions. I'm bringing that to them every month to try and bulk it up as much as possible to provide the relevant information that's helpful. Thank you.
I wonder, Ruben, on page 111 and 112, we've got the schedule round summary.
Yeah.
That could be digitized where you can click into that and see what is the plan, just 18 furniture pieces, and there they are, if it's mapped or something like that. 1,937 planned toilet schedule maintenance. Where those are, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
Because this is a higher level, but what I heard from their annual thing is that people want to be able to see the what and the where from there.
Yeah, certainly.
Otherwise, gives a really good finding. And also, you know, like some of the concepts, so I noticed that furniture across the different wards.
Yep.
Planned versus actual was different. It could potentially be that what was planned was not required for some of that.
It's a combination of some of those things. I think what we really appreciate about the monthly undertaking on how we report this, it is helping us to identify assets, understand the obligations under the contract to maintain those assets. This is a high level report, so drill down perhaps is not entirely possible, but I do agree with some of the comments that have been made and suggestions to move a lot of this information, to have that dynamic capability to drill down and look at some. We are working with them to see if that's a viable option. Because I'm all for it. Let's get it out there and transparent. So if anybody's got any questions, they can just look it up.
One of the things we picked up through this, didn't we, Ruben, is that I have been doing maths wrong. My mitty maths. In our asset summary and long-term plan, it says that we've got 79 public toilets, 69 owned. So I added the two together. I had something managed, thinking that we had 100 and something public toilets. But in fact, I should have been minusing, rather like the way it's stated in there makes it look like we lease all of these toilets, own all of these toilets, when in actual fact we've got a total of 69 of which we own, which means we've got 5 that we lease. So we picked up on that, and that's good.
Count yourself short. Math is still working, just perhaps the way we represent it on some of our documents probably needs to be a little bit more clear.
Any other news, Councillor Kappa?
I just wanted to thank you. Through you to Louis. I just wanted to clarify that from what I heard today, that as they carry out their contract, they also give feedback on the age of some of the assets, like toilets as well.
Yeah, so just to clarify on that, they have done a sampling of specific, just to test to see if there is an activity worth undertaking broadly. I think they mentioned probably seven different assets that they actually did an assessment on
Right.
to understand the condition. So it's not something that is part of the
No. Okay.
broadly.
It's definitely something that
Correct.
can feed back to council.
Absolutely. 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 Yeah.
All right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed to abstentions, that's carried. Item 6.7 on page 114, our capital program delivery update. Moved by Councillor McNally, seconded by Councillor Kakia Parawira. Councillor McNally.
We start. Carry forwards. If we go to pages 119, 120, 21 and 22, 23. You just go through those and have a look at the green box at the top of page 119 shows construction. And there's still carry forwards there in the financial year into that budget. Those carry forwards and then go design and planning. One of them, design and planning, 508 will be carried forward. 5.9 million for the next year. That's for potable water at the treatment plants. Does that become part of local waters done well is my question. Next one is concept. There's a whole lot of money in there. And then there's unplanned. Why are we carrying forward design and planning, concept and unplanned to the level that's in those documents, particularly in the flat up to 53 million? If you took out some of that unplanned budget, the conceptual stuff, and just have the amount required next year for the design or the concept, not the whole amount to complete complete project. I don't think it would be anywhere near the 52 million. Just the unplanned portion is somewhere around 3.5. Same thing under it, that's for multi-year projects. So the multi-year, it should actually be split up, design, or concept, design and planning, split it up and then shift. We could shift a lot of this work out and we get to do some more things that actually need to be done. Go down to resource consents. Most of that's design, planning and conceptual. Still adds up to a 4.8 million. I just don't follow how that, why that's carried forward at all. It should be just business as usual to me. And if they haven't got their budget planning right, then we need to have a look at that operation. And then page 120, unplanned work. There's 9.5 million there. That's 10 to 11% rates. And if it was all cash, I realise some of it will be budgeted. Next page is the same, unplanned or community board. It's to do with parks and reserves. Stormwater, unplanned, design and planning, once again, is that local what's done well. Page 122, wastewater. There's construction, a bit on the top of that, in the green, then design planning, concept, unplanned. Adds up to 53 million in that period. How much is under the local water's done well? Are we duplicating stuff? In the next page, water, there's 25 million there for the total budget. Only a little bit carried forward, 4.5. But is that local? But I've just got some real concerns with that, and I think our budgeting needs to be far better at splitting up the conceptual, the design and planning, resource consent needs to be individually and have the Gantt chart business. This is, we're going to spend it here, and then we could shift some of this work out. And that would either reduce the rate burden for the following year or put some of these capital projects to when we can actually do them. And if you look at the total amount there over all those projects, do we have the capacity to deliver? I'd say no. Gantt charts are good.
Staff commentary, and thank you for this Gantt chart that have made it into our for the 200 and how many projects? 204, I think it is. Staff commentary. 106.
Through you, Member Court. So the reactive renewal budgets, that's what is labelled as unplanned. So it's that there isn't an asset identified. The budgets have been approved in the long-term plan, but they don't have a specific asset that is due for renewal. So the community boards will come up with some of the works that they would like done, but that's what that money is there for. They're approved budgets. They're not pieces of work that we've got no idea and no plan for. They're just not particular assets and put forward to long-term plans as projects. The ones that are sitting in concept are all or anything after that are projects and assets that need to be renewed and have been identified to either be renewed or upgraded in the budget in the plan accordingly. So the only other thing that I would add to that is that with the use of the portfolio project management tool, that's where we're utilising that tool to ensure that programs and plans, that we've got a project plan, that the forecasting, the financial forecasting aligns with that plan so that the money is in the right month even, to be able to, in accordance with the delivery plan.
So we'll see some improvement.
Yeah, we need to we start to utilise the information that we are putting into that portfolio project management tool and share those reports. But I think that's where we'll end up moving from the Gantt view to the other tools that we've got. Gantt is really an interim until our reporting is this button ready.
But that Gantt actually relates to our infrastructure work program, doesn't it?
Yes, as does the project management tool that we have.
So how much of the water space ends up in the local water's done well? When does that kick in? When do they take over?
through you, Mayor Mockort. So the local water done well asset plan for Far North takes the first 3 years of the long-term plan as the starting point. So it assumes that that's going to be delivered, and anything that isn't delivered or is in flight at the time that the entity is the assets and et cetera transitioned over will be handed over. So the whole project management piece will be picked up. We're taking the approach that business continues as usual in the interim period, and in the unforeseen circumstance that there is a change of direction for whatever reason, we continue to deliver services and continue with the capital program, etc.
Last question. So does the unplanned work align with our district or our asset management plans? Because from what I heard from Sid here this morning, we don't have one. They've got one well and trained. They've all ended up on the GIS mapping. What are we working on? I don't like the word unplanned. Just doesn't look right.
Agree with you through you, Mayor Mockort. Agree that the wording of unplanned isn't the right word, because there is a plan. We just don't have a plan at the start of the financial year. Well, we can't come up with them. Some of those are reactive budgets, and so the budgets have been approved and will be utilised for any reactive works in the water space. And then some of those are reliant on other parts outside.
Can you put a new word in?
Yeah, absolutely.
That,
Yes.
Captures the stage that it's at.
Mhm.
So unplanned makes me think there's no one in here that has got it on their program. They do. It's not at a stage, the next stage.
Well, with planned versus unplanned, it sounds like me getting a mold of cattle, and I have a plan, but everything can go wrong, which is all unplanned.
Got a few members on the line, but I'm going to ask my question before I can remember. Can you help me, please, Tanya, understand on page 116, our capital program 2026 total budget, there's a number of projects there. Those, if I add those projects up, it equals 142 projects. But then when I go to the exec summary, the total number of physical works projects for the 26 capital program is 206. And then the projected carry forwards is 194. So I've got three conflicting project numbers that I'm just trying to understand that, and want to make sure that there's none that have just, I don't know, gone into our civil defence bunker, which is a bit dusty. Like what do I add or subtract across with my maternity to understand the number of projects?
Planned versus the unplanned.
If I could please defer, I am very grateful to see that Mary's back online. Mary, I'm not sure if you caught that in a position to.
Mary, our executive summary says that we have our capital program, which is annual plan 26 and projected carry forwards 25, has a total number of projects equaling 206. And then we've got an FY 25 projected carry forwards, a total number of 194 projects. But then on page 116, our capital program 2026 total budget, we've got 54 wastewater, 31 water, 40 district facilities, and 17 stormwater projects, which equals 142 projects in total. How do I figure out what all that means when I've got 142 for our capital program broken down on that graph, but our executive summary is different?
One's 26.
Roading is one of the figures, but not the other.
If I'm not sure, Bishop, that one there that you're referring to is just 2026.
Okay. And it sounds like roading is the missing one there. Okay, I'm going to go to Councillor Halkiart. How do we do the Councillor research?
Oh, nothing for me, thanks.
Councillor research.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor McNally. You did answer a lot of questions I had. But I've got a question for Charlie, and because local work was done when I was coming along, a lot of this planning, and I can see and I agree, yes, we have to continue BAU in this regard. What I'm particularly concerned about is two things. Is when can we engage with the local work, well, CCO, especially if we are implementing something that has implications that will follow what they are doing. That's one thing. And the second thing is the economy of scale. One of the reasons for doing it is because the economy of scale and a lot of things will be cheaper. So there may be projects that could be wiser to say, it's another consideration, is to defer it to the economy of scale and maybe more inflation coming along as well, so that we can save.
Through you, Mayor Mockle. Thank you, Councillor Vusic. So we're still in the early days of discussing the principles and the strategy, which will be used to inform the way the Board of Directors run the Waters CCO. And there's opportunity in early next year for elected members who are a part of that to inform the way that those principles and strategy are developed leading up to the anticipated CCO formation date of mid next year, so around June 2026. So all of the respective views and interests can be included in that. Following that point as well, you'll have the opportunity through the letter of expectations and statement of intent process to further define what the expectations are from council as the shareholder of the CCO to maintain and have reported back to you on things like levels of service and delivery against that strategy. So it's crucial that we get those key pieces put in up front, so they form the way that the directors will run the business, and then you've got an ongoing review and evaluation mechanism on an annual basis as well.
Councillor McNally, rather than reply.
I think I've said enough.
All those in favour say aye. Those opposed or abstentions, that's carried. We're going to go now to our solid waste contract update and recently since this July 25, page 133. I'll move. Councillor McNally. And Ruben, would you like to offer any opening commentary for this one?
Yeah, similarly to the previous report related to community facilities operations, this report was included in writing notices and just here formally for adoption or for acceptance. But I'm happy to answer questions. This mimics also that ongoing monthly reporting frequency of these big major contracts. So elected members are well aware of how it's performing on a monthly basis. Happy to try and answer questions you might have.
Councillor McNally.
Yeah, the other thing I would look at, well, sort of struck me as a bit odd, page 134, materials, markets and service transitions, the coloured PET bottles are phased out, acceptance ceased mid-July, legacy stockpiles have been directed to Golden Bay Cement. Why aren't we still collecting all those coloured ones into a bigger bin and still sending them to Golden Bay Cement? Because otherwise it's just going to go into landfill. If we want to reduce our landfill dumpage, we need a better solution than that. I see it says long-term outlets can be duly explored, but can we just have a chat with Golden Bay Cement again, please? I don't know what the volume will be, but
Yeah, happy to look into that for sure.
thank you.
Bye. All right, put the motion, all those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed or abstention, that's carried. We're now going to go to our transportation update, lighting maintenance and renewals contracts, July 2025, item 6.9 on page 216. Did I see Aaron here? Happy to take your report as brief. Any commentary? I'll put the motion, all those in favour say aye. Those opposed to abstentions, that's carried. And Aaron, you're still up, mate. And the next one we have is our Hokianga Services Ferry contract, item 6.10 on page 218. Moved by councillor Research, seconded by councillor Kappa. Councillor Research.
You know, pleased to see, numbers starting to rise, I think that last month, which is good. Definitely look at it. Better usage this year. And by the way, just on that, there's a positive response from rebookings from cruisers that come through. They like those sorts of stats where with a 100% increase in overseas earnings from just a cycleway. And I know it's associated with this, but it does impact on the ferry and various other things as well. Thank you.
I'll go to councillor Kappa, then councillor McNally. Councillor McNally.
I just, this sort of refers to revenue and expenditure, the annual forecast. It's quite a big lump of money there. Are there any proposed rebuilds of the ferry coming up? And if so, are they already in the forecast of the 2026 budget?
Through this year, there is a project that we're currently looking at. It's not a new brief as such, but we're looking at the airport ferry is being noted as being slightly poor condition and something that needs to be looked at, and with major budget putting that in the next financial year. So we're currently going discussing that now on the survey.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Research, right to reply.
No comment.
Put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed to abstentions. That's carried. Now, we'll go back to item 6.9 because we voted on it, but we had no mover second. So I'll move and councillor Short second. All those in favour for 6.9 lighting maintenance say aye. Those opposed to abstentions. That's carried. We'll go to item 6.11, stormwater catchment management plan update. Page 200.
Can I move?
That's been moved. Did I hear someone? Councillor Foy moved. Seconded by councillor McNally. Councillor Foy.
Thank you. Yes, great topic, especially now given that our council had this as an internal operations with Three Waters, this being our only water we're retaining. I wanted to ask a question in that capacity because given that we've got Sophie here as our waters asset manager, I'm not sure if she'll be retained to do stormwater. A question for, I guess, Tanya is how long will it take us to build our capacity in this area, given that we know that this will not be going over to the new CCO?
Through you, Mayor Koukou. I don't have an exact date of how long it will take us, but it's certainly a piece of work that we will be looking into, and what functions are remaining in council, what resources we will need to be able to fulfil that function. So it's a piece of work that we know that we need to do, Councillor Foy, and are working on it now.
And just in response to that, on page 231, there is a great timeline where it looks at next steps for this paper. But what I think we need to have provided to our council is the milestones, like page 231 has, that reflects the internal capacity as well, because it's not just going to be the internal capacity of the team, it's going to be the financial planning, in how we look at forward planning the operations and capital works to meet the new levels of service. If we can be given a timeline for those milestones to be provided to us, that would be appreciated, please.
Through you, Mayor Koukou. Thank you, Councillor Foy. There is quite a bit of work that needs to go on beyond just potentially. There are options available to the Chief Exec in terms of how he wishes to deliver stormwater services under local water done well. One of the items which has been mentioned and is of interest to Kaipara, particularly in the water services delivery plan, is the opportunity to outsource some of those services to the CCO. There are some more detailed sort of considerations at an operational level that need to be thought through and well understood in terms of the pros and cons of an approach like that and which elements of those services that might be carried over. Or to have the internal capability retained as a part of the transition or employed as a part of that transition. So there's a lot of water to go under the bridge in terms of the detailed design of that, excuse the pun. And we have quite tight timeframes with which to come up with a strategy around that. So absolutely appreciate the milestones that you pointed out on page 231, and we'll be working collaboratively with the chief exec to discuss the options and keep elected members across the developments in that area.
Any further questions, Councillor Foy?
No further questions. I think as well, one of the other points that I will be raising just to give staff a heads up now is the collaboration opportunities with the Northern Regional Council, given they do all of our flood gates, river management. So they're already dealing with surface water issues. And maybe there's collaboration opportunities with them as an entity as well.
Councillor McNally.
Yeah, page 221 under the executive summary, it's just everything. First thing, plans required to promote sustainable long-term environmental and the next bullet point, our existing plans are out of date. They're developed in 2012 based on network models 2007. And then the current plans have the following problems: document format not accessible, outdated network modelling techniques, outdated unreliable catchment information, does not demonstrate compliance with stormwater, lack of alignment with current strategic priorities, non-compliant with merging with. Now, it's not a good read, but if you look at, it's good to see this is in train and our assets are being looked at and we'll be able to budget accordingly. If you look at the overall catchment plan, our engineers that respond through or recommend through to, and I'm talking about external engineers on behalf of developers that recommend through to our planning department, they look at the overall catchment plan. They look at the increase in impervious surfaces and the impact on downstream catchment. Now, this will affect pipe sizes and overland flow paths. We could be into quite a significant capital upgrade of some of those pipe sizes when you look at Waipapa increase in impervious surfaces, or at least the overland flow to go. But even the increase in development going up Territory Road, most of that comes back down Territory Road, probably through the retirement village, under the Perna Centre, out under Mill Lane and into the Wairau Stream. So if you just start thinking of some of those, this is really important. Good to see it is underway. I do think we need a really solid timeline because it also impacts our district planning process, zoning of additional areas. Such a big bit of work and it's really important. So it's good to see it on here. That's the issues I see. And it brings up the point, have we ever heard back from the engineer about upgrading the size of the pipe under? Give us a couple of years. Thank you for whoever put that report. It's good. Safety and Scott, well done.
Right, I'll just note Councillor Foy will be going to another hui in 10 minutes. Thank you for that. Also a question from Koukou, who can't talk, and you'd better go to the doctors, please, Deputy Administrator. How did staff determine the prioritisation of these centres over others? Did you use existing practice data? What maintenance happens in the meantime on the district's urban stormwater?
As you may recall, we used we had a report done. We also used some in-house information and then the speed at what could be done in the shortest time frame available with some budget that we had. So a number of factors were used to determine that, but largely on greatest need first, or greatest potential risk, the impact of stormwater first.
Councillor Foy, right of reply.
Nothing further to add. Thank you for the report. I concur with Councillor McNally. It was a really good report.
Second question for Foy, please. What maintenance happens in the meantime on the district's urban stormwater?
Sorry, Deputy Mayor Stratford. Our normal operations and maintenance will continue in accordance with the program and regular scheduling of maintenance that we have. So it's not that anything will be stopped. We'll carry on with whatever our existing maintenance is.
Put the motion all those in favour, say aye. So the opposed or abstentions, that's carried. Water and wastewater reticulation network capacity assessment, item 6.12 on page 232 is next. I'll move the second time. Councillor Research, thank you. Just good to know that we are.
I think we can just speak to this, and the previous report was exactly that. We know that there have been questions over time from elected members. We know that we're working on it. We haven't done well to demonstrate to either elected members or our members of the public that we are working on it. So the last two reports were really to share with people the work that is going on and when we can expect the work to be completed by, and that will the modelling will also feed to Councillor Foy has previously on several occasions asked where the connections policy is up to, and so the connections policy, when we can confirm what our areas of benefit are and capacity, will be two pieces of work that will come together.
So just a very quick question. I see you says capacity assessment. This is what wastewater and this is replace Koukou. But Koukou is already undergoing quite a bit of work here in wastewater, so presumably that's provision. So that's the main question.
No, you're correct. Actually, Koukou would have been done to be part of the IAF work that has gone in. I'll double check why that's number 3 on the list.
Councillor McNally.
Yeah, I see Scott's in the room. Just in relation to your maps there, you've got the one for Koukou assessment flow. And if I've read your legend correctly, looks like the main line going from Koukou out to the left-hand side of the ponds shows that surcharged, there's no capacity. Will that require a pipe size increase or a secondary pipe? And the similar, the Koukou is to dry weather flow, Koukou wastewater, wet weather it's full, dry water it's near capacity. We need bigger pipes. How much money do we need?
If I can answer that, Scott thankfully filled in for me while I was on leave, and his name has come up on the reports. That pipe is doesn't have any fall on it. It's really, really flat from the start of that road all the way to the treatment plant. So it has been an issue for several years.
So
not in several years.
It's going in at the moment. Is that
no, that's further down for our overflows for an abatement notice. But this line, as part of the design, what we'll need to work out is whether we put a bigger size pipe in there or whether we put a pump station in there and pump it down there because there's not enough, or we put a second pipe in there. We won't know the answer to that just yet, but it has been a long-standing problem and we'll need to work through. went to the issues. The reality is on timeframes, that isn't in the long-term plan at the moment and will likely need to be done as part of local, it's done well in a CCO in the future. But the modelling will give us those restrictions.
Thank you.
I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed or abstentions. Item 6.13 now, road safety and traffic engineering report. 259. Let's get a move on. I'll move. And then back to the research. One, it's good to have this report on. I mean, the data that we're seeing through here is scary. And education plays a very important part to this. It's unfortunate that education bucket was decreased in our national land transport fund. So we've picked up the cost because it is important. And in this, we see that incredible speed of contact that final three does to educate people, to get people licenses, to make sure that farm organisers can be safe and our money, it makes a difference. So I'm grateful for this report, this new report template too. Really good. And it's nice to thank you. Councillor Research.
No, look, I just, again, just picking up on what you said about the stats, which is terrible. In Melbourne, we do have a higher death rate for the thousand than everything else in New Zealand. I do wonder, and it's not a question for this report, so education is crucial, but I do wonder if we had a GPS split, which is supposed to be urban and rural. Right on our rural roads, you notice how difficult and dangerous we can be.
Our if our roads are safe, then people will be safer on them. I wonder if the data correlates to that on the variances our deaths are, but all crashes are down on them. Councillor McMillan.
Yeah, just a comment really. I just wonder about whether the reduction in this will show up in the stats later on, given that the money was diverted into average speed safety cameras and it's taken away from road safety, put into other avenues. Be interested to see what reporting we get back from NZTA on exactly that. We might see it. We'll see.
Councillor Court.
Thank you. I get sent the crash data for every fatal crash happened on our network, and I share that with the mayor. The crash data is anonymised, so we don't know who it relates to, but we know the circumstances that related to that crash. And what stands out every single time, and I think the mayor will agree with me, is what causes the death, a lack of seatbelts. And that features, I can't remember a crash data report that I've read where that doesn't feature.
Where it always says, was the occupant wearing a seatbelt, and every time it said no.
Every single time it says no. So I think there's a lot, we tend to jump to the fact that it's our roads. And they do report on whether the road was a condition that contributed to the crash. And overwhelmingly that's no. So there's a lot that underpins this data that's not in this report that needs far smarter minds than mine to analyse it. It will inform our funding application to the National Land Transport Fund, where we do have high crash intersections and pieces of the network where we know we have data appearing. And you can go online, it's all there on NZTA's website. They actually show you little dots on the network, and if you click on the dot, it will tell you what happened at that dot. So we start to see patterns. I do think we should bring back Ronald McDonald make a clip.
yeah, that's,
Because back to my education point, funding was shifted.
characteristic. All right, I'm gonna move this, put the motion, all those in favour say aye. Those opposed or abstentions, that's carried. We're gonna go to item 6.14 now, transport capital works up, page 247. Councillor McNally, you can move this because you have the slides, and Councillor Koukou can second you. And we'll pass over to you.
Here it just outlines where the Gantt charts that shows where we're at, what we're trying to do. And there's a lot of money involved in it as well. So, whether we'll deliver it all, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure the Heaton Road Bridge is finished. Does it say that? There's another one that we're looking at. So there's a lot of investigations underway, design underway, the same thing, which was my point earlier on our other infrastructure works, is to make sure that we, the funding aligns with planning progress, so that we actually get the money in the right years, so we can spend it. And that's why I don't like great lumps of capital carryovers in any of the other projects, because we could do a whole lot more bridges.
Councillor Kapa. For myself, just highlighting on page 248, the Mangamuka Road, work has been suspended for approximately 6 weeks due to technical challenges with pile installation, single lane stop-go traffic control in place and functioning. Contractors are investigating construction methodology that looks to minimise the road. This one is really important. And it was highlighted to me that our contractors actually wanted a full road closure to be able to do this work. Those who know Mangamuka Road going to Tutikehua, that is a vital link connecting the east and the west, the north and the mid-north of our district. And for that road, closing that road is not realistic whatsoever for the safety of people needing to travel through here. Kiwi. So that's why there is that stop go. There is a pause to come up with a workable plan that will be effective. I wondered if there was just any more update on that one specifically. Start it all.
Mayor Moko, Dave, if I could ask you to.
Thank you, Charlie, and through the chair, we are continuing to work with all the programs. We're getting very close to revised methodology that there'll be some nighttime closures with intermittent openings once every hour or so, but during peak time and during the day, it's going to be kept open. So that is in plan. It's moving forward.
Thank you for that. And are we making sure that throughout all of this, we are keeping key stakeholders in the know, like our Hokianga Ferry contractor, St. John based in Koukou, our Broadwood, and who's the other one under this? Like our volunteer firefighters, like those sorts of ones, so that if we are having nighttime,
Because now I'm thinking
they know this, but also the road is not too safe for them to pass through if they need to.
We haven't got much to tell them yet, but when we get to that decision point, we're aware that they need to be involved in that decision-making process.
No, thank you for that. Also, just as an aside, when 7 Sharp come up here following Cyclone Gabriel, and we went to Tautihi, Marae, Koukou, for them to see all the good mahi that was going on, and then put the call out for New Zealand to send us some generators or money. They wanted to stop at the slip. They were like, "Look at the slip! It's terrible." Oh, that's not from Cyclone Gabriel. But you can film it if you want, but it is a big one. So glad to know that we've got a plan in place. The other question I just had was on Taimaro Road. I see design is underway for bridge resilience renewals. Solution requires land agreements. Is that with land agreements for are those private landowners, or is that Te Runga Kahipura Ariki trusts? for the farm that they got through the settlement legislation there, or how the solution requires land agreements, but that's all we've got. We don't have who's doing the work required to see those land agreements come to fruition. I know this area because I'm from Taimama Bank.
We'll find the relevant details on in relation to the status of that project, and we'll come back to you on that.
Thank you. No one else? All right, I'm going to go to Councillor McNally for right of reply.
Yeah, just a question relating to that Mangamoka Road. Is the road closure required from a machinery setup? Oh, it's gone offline. Mangamoka, do you need does that road closure, they want that to set up the machinery for the piling and things? Set up some big gear or what's right?
They want to bring a bigger machine in, and initially to do that, instead if we just close the road, we'll be able to. But I'll still be bringing in a bigger machine, but developing methodologies to fit in with that full road closure.
So they set up a separate platform for the machine.
Yeah, widening platform, but the bottom swing, the rear swing will still come over the road. That's why nighttime closures are going to be.
Yeah, understood. And the second comment was, it's got sites under construction, speed limit reversals. I'd just like to remind everyone that next time we get a directive from the government about these limits, we actually pause, as Councillor Court and I requested at the time, because it's cost a lot of money to do this, and it makes us look pretty stupid. Thank you.
Got the motion, all those in favour say aye. Those opposed, that's carried. Now we're going to go to item 6.15 on page 855, which is our transport maintenance and renewals activity update July for 2025. Like to get a move. I'll move. Seconder. Yeah. Councillor McNally. Did I write anything? This is just looking back. Actually,
Yeah, I think the key message there, July recorded the highest monthly rainfall total for 25 to date, and yet the work continued. So good work to them and the reports itself. Thank you.
Councillor Foy.
Hi, I'm back. Sorry, that was a quick meeting. I just wanted to ask a question about this find and fix trial. So it says that there'd been, and it shows the map of where they've been trialing it, and a big increase in the number of dispatches in July, you know, given it's wet. Is there someone here that can speak about that trial and what and how they think that it's operating?
For you, Member Court, this is one that Gilmore is covering off. He isn't with us today, but we can request a briefing paper and update be provided to elected members as to the progress of that trial.
The feedback I've got, I've driven some of those roads, but talking to the truckies that I deal with, they say that they're seeing improvement through those areas. They're not stating what faults, but it will relate to rain and vegetation corridor predominantly.
I wondered if Charlie, Margaret, if they could, I found what I wanted to say. Because we have two separate contractors, a far north contractor and a mid north contractor. The way they report back isn't standardised, which I don't mean it has to be standardised, but some of the whenever I look at something like this, right, because I'm always hearing about how terrible the roads are, how useless as councillors, the contractors are, Horetake and all of that sort of thing. And then I read this and go, there's money going in. Just drove 1,000 bloody kilometres off the far north and the roads are actually really good on the whole. So when I look at key things you could pull out, or that our comms team could pull out of this sort of stuff, right? In the Ventia report on page 259, like 399 sealed potholes repaired, 3,632 unsealed potholes repaired. There's some really good data in there, and then I look at what it was for the previous month. Previous month was 233 sealed potholes, so there's almost 200 more than. The previous month was 1,000 unsealed road potholes repaired. Now it's gone up 2,600. So that's a heck of a lot of mahi done over the month beforehand. But then when I go to the final contract with Fulton Hogan, the way that they report back on that same sort of data is different. So you can't really make a similar comparison. That makes sense. And I wondered if there are some things we could request of them that is standardized so that Ben can pick it up and send it on to Matt McCambridge to make a nice infographic which shows the good story of what our contractors are actually doing for the significant amount of money that it costs to do our Councillor Foy.
Just a supplementary question, I guess, maybe because we don't have the staff there, maybe Steve may know the answer, or Ian. The find and fix, is that only in the southern area? Is it not being implemented in the northern area by Hilton Hogan? Is it only being done by Ventia?
Yes, the trials down here at Ventia, and that increase in pothole repair could be a result of it. I don't know. You need to get into it.
So I guess, given that it seems to be a success, when will Koukou be given the opportunity for the find and fix program?
When the trial's been analysed.
Okay. I guess next meeting I'll just ask the time frame for that. That'll be great. Thank you. What a great initiative.
I think we have to get our jobs back for the next meeting, but can we have that? No, in all seriousness, can we please have it captured that this trial that from the data we're looking at in front of us today has potentially been a massive success. How's that going to be copy pasted and the successes felt for our farming contract?
I do know in a conversation I had with Rob that their video have asked for a bit of fine tuning. As part of the find and fix is all right, but then it's reporting of other work that needs doing. So they're also picking up on what is required as they're driving the network.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed to extensions, that's carried. We're going to go to item 6.16 now, which is our North Pukeanga Road working group update. Moved by Councillor Research. And I'll second it, Councillor Research.
Just a very quick comment. It's been really encouraging to see how local knowledge has made quite a bit of difference to understanding the issues there, the need to fix it. And also towards creating a positive culture in that whole area. That's all I can say at the moment.
You know, this one here. Just the note from me is that the success of this working group, which I just am going to note that what we don't want is that this level of communication that has now seen better outcomes for our North Pukeanga community. Councillor Akina's concern is that with the election and then the induction and all of that sort of thing, that this could all fall over until next year when someone else decides to pick it up. So capturing that level. The other thing too is this template is has been a trial. I'll use that. It's been a trial. It's been a successful trial. So how do we utilise the success of this trial and the learnings that have come with it to make sure that it's fair for all communities in our farm to have the same level of engagement for lifelines, their roads across the like if I pick where I'm also from, I know it's North Pukeanga. I'm also from Whangaru, like that Taimaro bridge landing. probably would be sorted if we had a working group over there, because they would know who's who and get stuff like that out. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed, or abstentions, that's carried. We're now going to go to item 6.17, Koukou IAF progress update on page 314. Moved by councillor Lucic, seconded by councillor Kappa.
Just a quick comment, the project area of Fairwind to be very friendly, I'll go on that way, make it well, not quite expressed, it's just how they're willing to prevent disruption. The fastest green light I've seen in the area, they don't really know what it is to do, but got getting clean, that's the last step, well, best by that. But then of course, opens up.
Councillor Kappa.
Yes,
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed or abstentions. That is carried. We're going to go into PDX now, but our agenda has the PDF and the agenda items themselves have them as item 4.1, 4.2, 7.3, 4.4, 4.5. I assume that it'll be 7, it's not 4. So the recommendation is that we exclude the public for the following parts of this committee meeting. Item 7.1, confirmation of previous PX minutes. 7.2, to Koukou public exclude open resolutions and action points update. 7.3, fluoridation equipment for PDP entire water treatment plants. 7.4, variation to contract district-wide water and wastewater data telemetry upgrade, and 7.5, variation to contract IPA wastewater detailed design. I will move it back to the seconder. Right. So the research. All those, any commentary? All those in favour say aye. Those opposed or abstentions, that's carried. If you could stop recording, you just chop it or do your magic please by volume.